You finally did it. You finally figured out your passion. You finally figured out what you are going to pursue moving forward. And that's great, it's about damn time. I think that's the song actually. That sounds pretty good in my head. Anyway, pursuing your passion is great. It's something that you are motivated about, something that you are very good at, something that you have skill sets on. However, you want to avoid burnout when pursuing your passion. In the beginning, you're motivated, it's new and exciting, and you can't wait to get to work. However, you really need to focus on not burning yourself out. It is very easy to burn yourself out when pursuing your passion because that's all you think about, that's all you want to do. However, you need to remember self-care is key when pursuing your passion. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to avoid burnout. And when I personally started to pursue my passion, I did stumble upon a lot of burnouts until I took these action. And don't get me wrong, having burnout aren't horrible. Sometimes you do need a burnout so you can rest and replenish your energy to get back to work. Sometimes you need that day off. Sometimes you generally need a day for yourself. With that being said, these are things that you want to take action on so you can avoid burnouts. Set boundaries. And when setting a boundary, this is when you want to create a schedule and when you want to work on your passion. And something that I personally do is I have a schedule Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 every week. And this is honestly great because one, it doesn't overwork myself, and two, I have days and when I can be consistent and disciplined on. It's like having a 9 to 5, but in a way it's like me being my own boss. And I guess that's the whole idea, right? A nomad, a freelancer, or a nomad entrepreneur, whatever type you're trying to pursue with your passion. Just know, set some hours, become disciplined, get consistent with it. Something that I used to do a lot when I had my schedule, and I used to work overtime. I used to work like a little bit an extra hour or two, and those are great. Sometimes you generally do need to work overtime to get more things done. However, when you keep overworking yourself, when you become a workaholic of what you're trying to accomplish, sometimes it's really not good for you. Sometimes you get so obsessed, sometimes you can't stop thinking about it, or you can't sleep. And sometimes that is good, you're on the right path. However, it's not good for your mental health, and it's not good for yourself. And that's why I always tell people this: know when to turn off your computer. And that's why it's so important to have a boundary and setting a schedule. Know when to turn it off and continue what you're doing the next day. Don't try to overwork yourself, and most importantly, don't try to rush your work. If you know you're trying to work something really good, you have something good in plan, don't rush it because you're trying to finish it that day. Take a break. Taking breaks are very important. Like when you go to school or when you have work, you have breaks. You have water break or you have lunch breaks. And it's very important to have those breaks in between your schedule or whatever hours you are doing, especially if you're going to work 8 hours straight. Put a 30-minute break in, or something that I personally do, and this has really been helping me get more productive and not be on my phone or just wandering around off the internet. I like to add 1 hour work, and then I add a 10-minute break, do whatever I want, go on my phone, lay down, maybe meditate, something that's really fun actually, meditation. And then I continue my work another hour. And, after like the 7 or 8 hour shift, you are generally having like an hour and like 20-minute break if you add it all up. I never recommend you taking a very long break. Like if you're gonna take a break in your 8 or 9 hour shift, don't take one break in 1 hour. I feel like it has no efficient for you or me. It really didn't work for me. And when I take my 1 hour break, I used to do this, by the way. I used to get lunch and I used to eat, and then by the time I get back to work, I get so lazy, I get so tired, I want to take a nap. My whole afternoon is pretty much ruined, and that is the reason why I started to take like 10-minute breaks in between every hour. Very efficient, something I highly recommend if you are going to start taking breaks. I always recommend sticking with 10 minutes before you get too brainwashed into scrolling on TikTok or scrolling on social media. Practice self-care. It is so important to practice self-care when pursuing your passion or whatever you're doing in life, because self-care is literally come down to yourself. You need to take care of yourself, and the only one that can take care of yourself is, well, actually you. And unfortunately, since we are not robots, since we cannot work 24/7, which that would be really awesome. I wish I was a robot. But then again, if we were, I would have no emotion, which I feel like I don't really have emotions. Okay, this got a little dark. Anyway, so self-care is very important because, well, you need to know when to take breaks. You need to know when to start taking care of yourself. This certainly comes down to, start reading, start going to the gym, start that diet, eat good food for yourself, start writing. I think writing is very important. That's something that I personally do a lot. Journaling, because when you are pursuing your dreams and goals and pursuing that passion, you're gonna have a lot of self-doubt. You're gonna have a lot of negative thinking. You're gonna, be insecure. You're gonna think like, why isn't this working? And the best way to really write this down is on paper or on your phone. It doesn't really matter. Just put it out somewhere so it's not bottled up, because then if you keep it bottled up, eventually it's gonna crack, you're gonna burst, and well, you're gonna have a mental breakdown, and that's something you do not want to have. Connecting with people. When pursuing your passion, it can be very lonely, it can be very isolating, and that's why it's very important to meet like-minded people that are also into your passion or have the same interests as you. And if you're like me, don't really have any friends, or the best way to network is honestly through social media. Go figure out people that are in your niche that's doing exactly what you're doing, shoot them a DM, message them, hey, and then you start having a general conversation with them. And this is the best way to network with people, because one, you share the same interest, two, you're trying to achieve the same goal, and three, you're meeting a new friend. It never hurt to have new friends. I generally feel as you can try to be a lone wolf, but you won't get very far. It's very important to have a network of people that can help you achieve your goals and dreams throughout your journey, and also you can provide value for their journey. Now, if you're just starting at pursuing your passion, dreams, and goals, I will say this. The first 6 months, sharpen your axe. Sharpen what you have to get done. Don't try to network just yet, because your goal isn't to meet like-minded people that started. You're not trying to meet people that are motivated and just started, because for the most part, you're not going to really get anywhere with those people. And that's why I always say it's very important to work on yourself first for the first 6 months. Provide value. Get some result in you. Have some backup. Have things under your belt. Start. And then once you start, after 6 months, this is where you should be able to network, meet like-minded people that already started, that already have some value in them, that might already have some result. And this way, you can provide value for them, and they can provide value to you. Celebrating the small win. This is something that I need to keep working on, I will admit, because this is something I don't really do as often, and the reason why I need to work on this is because your journey, when you pursue your passion, it can take a very long time. It can take up to 5 years, and knowing that, taking 5 years, right? Just imagine you work 5 years every single day, staying consistent, 8 to 4 every single day without seeing results until 5 years. And that's gonna drive you crazy. That's gonna drive you mad. That's gonna drive no motivation. You're gonna feel like you don't have what it takes. The self-doubt will be skyrocketing up. And that's why it's important to celebrate the small wins. And the small wins are simple, making your bed every single day, showing up to work every single day, showing new ideas every time, having the small win will be a big impact to pursuing your passion. Just remember that when you grind alone, you're also going to celebrate alone. And that's okay, because the only one that truly wants to make your passion work is yourself, right? The only one that generally rooting for you is yourself. It's you versus you. And this is something that I genuinely had to learn the hard way. And every time I do get a burnout, that's what I remind myself of. I remind myself it is me versus me. And then I also remind myself, what is my competition doing? Because if I'm laying down, maybe watching Netflix or just hanging out, my competition is at work. My competition is trying to make this work. And just know that if you genuinely want to be the best at what you're going to do, if you genuinely want to make this work, you need to put everything else aside and get to work. That is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for staying and watching. Be sure to check out last week's video because you do not want to miss that one. That was an amazing video. With that being said, if you guys have any questions, be sure to comment below, and I will see you guys in the next one.